Again with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda are the Board of Education norms, which are available in the agenda packet. And next we have the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda of the January 17th, 2023 regular open session. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the MSBA monthly report.
Welcome to 2023 and the January MSBA Board Report. We begin the new year with a look back at last year.
Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
In the early 1960s, John F. Kennedy was touring NASA headquarters. During his visit, he encountered a custodian mopping the floors. Kennedy asked the employee, "Why are you working so late?" The custodian replied, "Because I'm not mopping the floors, I'm putting a man on the moon." The takeaway being, the day-to-day work of all connects to the ultimate goal. That mentality was on full display in your work in 2022. In public education, the vision of a better future for all communities and a mission that strives for the success of all students is as audacious and aspirational as ever. But the day-to-day work from school leaders across the state, throughout some of the most challenging circumstances, served as an inspiration and will continue to guide us. There were many challenges to be faced in 2022, but once again, engaged community champions rose to the occasion. The 2022 legislative session convened on January 5th. Once again this past year, the advocacy efforts of Missouri school board members had a significant impact on legislation and policy being considered on the state and national levels. Along with parents and community members, local school leaders made their voices heard and advocated on behalf of students and districts across the state.
We have to be an advocate for children across the district. And so when I think about it, I'm advocating for the children that don't live in my house, that don't have a mom that might show up to something and might not know all of, how they can express themselves. So I can be that voice.
Last year, it was as apparent as ever that teachers make the difference. Not all heroes wear capes. Some look just like the rest of us and are hiding in plain sight, inside the four walls of our Missouri classrooms, making a difference and igniting the spark inside students every day. As teacher shortages struck many districts, communities and school boards around the state worked tirelessly to create solutions to uplift and protect the teachers making a difference.
My school board supported me by engaging in tough conversations, some very intense fellowship. That concept of being a champion for our public schools and being a champion in our public schools. And I appreciate all of you for being both of those things.
Our boards of education in Missouri are diligently working to find solutions, and we will continue to do so as we strive to strengthen that workforce. Now, our work is not done as far as the commission. The next thing we really need to look at, and I know there's not a school district in the state of Missouri that hasn't come across this, but another committee is formed to look at the culture and climate.
Ultimately, one of the greatest factors in determining whether or not school districts achieve student success is an engaged and effective local school board. The day-to-day work of implementing policy, board training and development, and ensuring school safety is the work that places schools and communities on a trajectory to the best possible future.
Oscar Wilde has a great quote, one of my favorites. He said, experience is the best teacher because it gives you the test and then the lesson. And we've learned a lot these last 2 years, and I think we need to celebrate that. Celebrate the things we did well, learn from the things we didn't do good and failed at, and move forward and celebrate those.
As the year wound down with the 2022 MSBA Annual Conference, former NASA astronaut Dr. Bernard Harris reminded the audience at the second general session that the minds of students aren't limited to just reaching the moon, they are infinite.
One of my favorite sayings is that I'm an infinite being with infinite possibilities. And when I'm in a group of students, I will actually force them, especially high school, force them to repeat after me that I am an infinite being with infinite possibilities. That they come into this world with certain skills and abilities that are uniquely theirs, and it's our job to nurture those things. And it's your job, and all of our jobs, to use education to add to those talents that they have. But the most important aspect of this notion of being an infinite being with infinite possibility is this, that each and every one of you and each and every one of them was born for a reason. And we have to help them discover what those reasons are. I can't think of a better thing to do for our young kids, but to enable them, to empower them to be whatever it is that they want to be.
In 2022, MSBA was proud to stand side by side with each and every one of you in supporting our local schools, and we will continue to do so in 2023 and beyond. The day-to-day work continues as we look ahead not just to the moon, but to the infinite possibilities of a new year.
Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win.
All right, next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda. I have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. I will abstain from that. And because of the substitute list.
Okay. Okay.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we have the guidelines for public participation. Board members and administrators will listen to concerns and will respond when appropriate by mail or telephone at a later date. The public comment period will not exceed 15 minutes. No individual will be permitted to speak more than once during this period, and each speaker will be allotted no more than 5 minutes. Per policy BDEH-1, public participation at board meetings, the following guidelines and procedures will be followed. In order to speak during public participation, a public comment form must be filled out and submitted to the board president prior to the beginning of the meeting. The public comment period will not exceed 15 minutes. No individual will be permitted to speak more than once, and each speaker will be allotted no more than 5 minutes. I do not have any public comments. Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have a report of the superintendent.
All right. This month, there are no notes of appreciation, but please know that you're greatly appreciated. So the past couple of months, I've been talking about the school board election. Election day is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. Please remember to get out and vote. But this year, we had candidates filing equal to the number of open positions, meaning we had 3 open positions and we had 3 individuals file for those seats. So the district does not need to hold a board election. The expiring terms were Mr. Eric Bosler, Mr. James Kirshner, and Mrs. Martha Riesinger. All 3 of the incumbents filed, so congratulations and thank you for your service. So, good job.
Good job.
Next, I have kindergarten registration. St. John Elementary's kindergarten registration is Saturday, March 25th, 8 to 2. Bloomsdale's is Saturday, April 1st, 8 to 1. We're getting closer. February 21st, which is our next board meeting, those offices will actually open up and start taking phone calls to schedule appointments. So if you have a preschool child or a child coming into kindergarten, please contact the offices where your child would attend elementary and get the child registered to do the registration process and be screened. And there are no safety reports this month, so that is the end of my report.
Short.
Very short.
All right, thank you very much. Next on the agenda, we have unfinished business, and the first item under unfinished business is instructional program presentation, gifted education.
And we have Miss Crystal Koenig, so I'm going to turn it over to her. I think she's got some special guests to help her out.
I'm gonna give my overview and then I'll let them speak and students that have to like them kind of take over. Just an overview of the program. We offer opportunities above and beyond the regular class and explore and expand their gifts and talents. We work on creativity, reasoning, decision making, problem solving, and communication. We help students understand the importance of a personal sense of responsibility. And we establish goals and objectives for growth, and they work on those all throughout. So I have them from little on, and they just keep building on those same skills and adding more as they see fit. Try to give them experiences maybe they wouldn't have experienced before, especially in the regular classroom.
So, this is my 5th year in the gifted program, and every day, I don't remember ever not having a lot of fun, but still being more challenged than any other class. For instance, Miss Koenig would give us a project, and we would have a lot of fun and be really creative with it, and we would just think she's just being nice and giving us a fun project. But later we realized that we're actually working on our creativity, social and emotional skills, or our logic and interpersonal skills. For example, every few weeks we get to build with the Kiva blocks, and Miss Koenig would have us build a bridge with no supports under it from one stool to the other. And we would just think that this is for fun, but we're actually learning about physics and counterbalance. Other times we get 10 seconds to look at a structure built with Kiva blocks, and then we would have to build that structure with a limited amount of blocks. Here we're working on our attention to detail and our ability to work under pressure. For these reasons, I think that the Gifted and Talented program should be kept in the school district for as long as possible.
Thank you. Reese, you forgot to introduce who you are.
Yeah, I'm Reese Webemeyer.
My name is Anna Fisher, and I joined the program in 7th grade, and I'm in 8th grade now. And one of my favorite parts of the program is called Genius Hour, and we do Genius Hour every morning, or every Monday. And it's where we get to choose something we want to improve on, or something new we want to learn. And we get to learn about it every Monday for that semester. And then at the end, we present what we have learned or what we have improved on or our progress in it to the whole class. And when I say we got a wide range because we didn't tell Miss K anything and she's gonna make it happen for us, or at least something towards it happen for us. And we got from hatching chickens to starting businesses to solving a Rubik's Cube. And I love going in Miss K's class because I know I'll have fun and learn every day.
Hi, my name is Blair Bowman, and I started Gifted in 5th grade. And one of the things I love about it is that if you think more intelligently or you think more logically, or you get to think more creatively. I personally think I think more creatively. As a matter of fact, right now in Gifted we're working on a globe that spins, and on each continent I'm putting art from that continent. And also in Gifted in 5th grade, we got to do plays a lot, and we got to dress up, and we got to have a bunch of fun. And at the end of it, we had to do our own play. And my play was about my dog Bo, and he couldn't decide what he wanted to do. And either it was the bone under the couch or the ball on the rug. And he ended up saying, "Oh, I just want to lay in the sun." And that's why I love Gifted, because I can learn from other people and they can learn from me. And that's all I have to say.
So she pretty much Anna covered which is going to discuss that we have eggs in our room right now, getting ready to hatch in about 2 weeks. We have one little girl who's building her business, and she has been for the last year for soap, and she just decided she was going to make it from a kit she'd gotten, and then she started selling them, and it's just taken off. So she works on that. She works on our label. She works on all the business aspects of it. I made her fill out a whole business plan, which she wasn't too thrilled about, but she realized she needed it, so it worked out. Anna's doing photo editing and working on how to do that and learning all about that. Woodworking, art, learning a new skill, those are different things that we've been working on. And now we have a challenge for you. It's a modified version of the challenge for you. It shouldn't take very long. We have about 2 minutes that we think we can manage this, so we need to grab a partner. All right. Okay. Okay, so the kids would probably have 18 of these, and you're getting 5, so you have a little bit of a modified version. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you get a foot of tape and you have a marshmallow, and your mission is to make the tallest tower possible, and you have to agree on how you're going to build it. So you have to communicate. And then the top has to be your marshmallow. So there's the picture. You ready? Wait. How long? 2 minutes. I think that's probably all I have to tallest structure. So can you write whatever you want? All right. Good to know. Okay, on your mark. Just have to stand. Tallest structure.
I know, but can we hold it?
No.
It has to stand.
Yes,
Okay.
freestanding.
Hey, I know.
Here, I'll move my fingers a little. 1 minute left? Oh, God.
See if you tape or tape
Right here. Yeah, but it has to, see where my fingers are holding
Make
it?
it work.
Okay, it has to be there. Yeah.
I just really go like this.
Wrap it around real good.
And then start the piece in there.
Then,
And
if that works,
up there.
I'm gonna take another one up here, and then the marshmallow.
That way, yeah.
Is it holding?
We don't have to use all the tape now, but are you gonna tape it too tight where our stuff won't sit?
That's good.
Oh, I think that's what we gotta make sure.
Oh, it's falling. That's why we weren't in the gifted, right?
Maybe we should just cut a lot.
Now let's try it.
Job and just go with 4.
There, okay.
Is it holding?
Hold, stand up.
Okay, it's time. Oh. We have any more tape?
Yeah.
Still
have another piece up. Look at that. No, marshmallow's be on the top.
Yeah.
That's a little noodle don't cooperate.
You need a marshmallow on top.
Yes.
Come on. Here, you has.
Oh, they got a little piece of where your fingers are.
It works, it works. Okay, wait. Oh, it's pretty good, Martha.
There's a standing.
Is it standing?
I was there for seconds.
Oh, my sketch broke.
The kids probably would have had a few more parameters and had it all listed out on the screen, but we wanted to give you just a taste of what they have to be. We have to go through. And then the last thing that we want to talk about is the portrait of a gifted learner. And this was just completed this last fall. And then this is a paper copy of that and our Missouri Gifted Learner Outcomes that I helped create with other gifted teachers in the state of Missouri. And these specify our actual outcomes and what we work on in the class.
Well, maybe there was gonna be spaghetti.
You want to take all those and take them. You're welcome to take it.
Ours broke too.
Ours did.
Yeah, I wonder what he was thinking back there. Yeah, how would you have built it?
Do you have questions?
Thank you all very, very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you guys so much
Yeah.
for talking to us.
Okay, so I was asked to speak about the Gifted Association of Missouri. I'm on the board of directors, and we fight to have gifted education in every school district. So we are super thankful that we are here. I feel we have a school and a community that just embraces it and allows us to be free to explore each and every one of their individual interests. That's not that way in every school district. Some of them focus on math and science, and some of them focus on things they feel they should focus on. And we are very thankful for how you allow us to run our program. And we just had it passed this last fall, I think it was last fall, that every district now in the state of Missouri has to have a gifted program. So we are super proud of that, and that all the kids in the state of Missouri are going to have to be able to get into a program. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, next on the agenda is
We have two wonderful people who are going to do this presentation. Romy.
Where were you guys when the spaghetti noodles?
yeah.
So.
Oh, really?
You can say this for years.
You want me to bring it to you? I'll bring it to you.
That does too. All right.
Feels very cool. Right here. Okay. All right. So I am Romy Elk, and I'm with KRJ Architecture. Of course, I'm representing our team, our design team, our team of architects, and then
I'm Colin Rogers with Brock Miller Construction, your construction manager.
so together we have had many meetings with your administration, with some of your different committees, and we're really getting rolling on a lot of the projects. So we kind of wanted to give you guys all an update. Okay, how do I change the slide, Bailey?
Oh,
who did it?
Tell me.
Oh, your magic. Thanks.
Just asking.
Right. Okay, so the first slide is your site survey for your early childhood center. Now that all the property has been put together, we've been working on getting surveys. We will get geotech proposals, and really planning out that site and what will best fit there as we work through the design.
And what Rami means by all the property, we just recently acquired 5 acres from Mississippi Lime to lay out the early childhood center, the playgrounds, and the parking lot, and be able to, in the future, have some growth, some opportunity for growth and room to grow. So we're very thankful that Mississippi Lime worked with us, and we closed last month. So we have the deed, it's ours.
Now we are free to design.
Yes.
All right, next one. Okay. This is showing kind of where the building we think will be located on the site. That's what's in yellow, and then a playground, and then also the parking. It's going to take up a lot of that site, but also taking into consideration the surrounding neighborhood while we design the new building will be really important. This is a preliminary layout. We've done some visiting to some other early childhood centers. We actually started with a different floor plan, and after visiting those centers and really kind of looking at them and how it was working with especially public versus private spaces and the rooms where the kids would be versus rooms where maybe they would be doing kindergarten screening or other sorts of screening, and the more public admin spaces led us to this floor plans. The next step with early childhood will be meeting with teachers and faculty and really getting their input on the design. There were certain things that they loved about some centers, like really wide corridors, and their input of just the intricacies of it all that really play into it and will make it really successful. This scheme shows 10 classrooms in the base bid and then the possibility of 4 classrooms for the alternate bid. And what we're saying is if there's money, then it would be nice to be able to add on now, but it's also possible that in the future they could be added. So designing that first phase of the early childhood center with that in mind is really important as we have those conversations. This is a rendering of what we are thinking it could possibly look like. Again, really thinking about the surrounding neighborhood and not making some big industrial or commercial office building, I think is really important. But yet evoking some of that school spirit in it too. Bloomsdale Elementary, of course, this is the existing site plan. The issues at Bloomsdale were the secure entrance, and that right now you can just basically walk in as soon as you're buzzed in and go wherever you want. The solution to that is currently out for bid right now is an addition to the front of it, which is about 1,500 square feet, and what it is this is now going to be the main entrance. So here's the cafeteria, this is that main sidewalk. You walk into the corridor, you can be buzzed into the corridor, and then you interact with the lady sitting here, and there's 2 transaction windows, and then they can either allow you directly into the office or into the building, depending on what you're there for. You know, if there's just like a paper you're signing, you can pass it under. And then the 2 offices and a workroom, a little bathroom, and then there's also been asbestos abatement done already over Christmas break, which was really nice to get a head start on that. And then those existing spaces will be renovated. Right now there's, of course, if you see it every day, there's no flooring there. They're kind of living in a construction zone, but it'll be nice when it's done. So those are the main highlights of that. And I should say, it's currently bidding. Bids are due Thursday. So Colin's eagerly anticipating that. This is a rendering of kind of what it looks like. Doing some more design elements here to tie into the existing building. The facade of this building is really nice with these, it's called cow wall, but it's like translucent wall panels. So bringing in that pattern, but in a more modern way and not replicating what's already there. Okay, St. John Elementary. The main issues at this one, as we know, were the front entrance, and then the gym is, the front entrance does not meet ADA. The gym is undersized, so it's not utilized like it could be. So this would be where the new building is going to go. It would take away some of that parking. I think that's the next slide. So in saying that, we know that with all of these projects on the main campus, that parking is an issue, as I pulled up today, and all of your parking lots are pretty full at night. And reminded of that. So we are looking at potential places for other parking, and as we work further into all the projects with the civil engineers and really laying it out, we'll figure that out more. One is for the playground here. It's our understanding that that playground is not used very often. Also up in front here, there are some utilities coming through this way, so we don't want to touch those. We want to stay away from them. And then there's some parking maybe over in here, the central office that could be nice. The elementary addition, like we said, consists of a gym, and it also consists of a new main entrance that will be on grade. So what that means is that you'll come off the parking lot straight into it. Whereas right now, you know, say you're a grandparent coming for to pick up your first grader, and you have to go up that whole flight of stairs to get in, or you have to go around the other way. This will bring you right in with dropping the offices to that same level, new bathrooms for the gym, and then there'll be stairs up with a chairlift. Middle school, again, ADA issues were really driving what that project was. The addition to that building will consist of an elevator, and we are locating it in the back corner, kind of because we do not want to detract from the front facade of that building. We all know it's a nice historic looking building, so you don't want to throw anything in front of it. There'll be an elevator, so this is 3 floors. This is first floor, second floor, and third floor. The first floor, I have this backwards. This is the bottom floor. Yeah. Yep. I was like, wait a minute. None of us felt this. This is the basement floor. So this is where the nurse's office is. So it's just the elevator and a corridor to get to that space. The second floor is this floor, the main floor. This is the walk. The kids are traveling between that existing building, the really old building, and then the other building. And that'll be a nice new counseling suite, centrally located. And then the elevator, and then upstairs, because on the third floor there are no bathrooms up there right now, which has been an issue. Those will be added on the third floor. Okay, high school. The high school, the main project will consist of a gym, which has been discussed. It'll be added onto the back of the existing gym building, and right now it'll be 1 story. So this is currently where your weight room is right now, and that's going to be renovated into a locker room for visiting teams with some restrooms, and then the wrestling room will become the new weight room. So that'll be renovated to that, and then a new gym will be added, and there'll be a corridor made through that existing building to get to the gym. This is just the section kind of showing, so that existing gym floor is here, the locker room, weight room floor is here, and then that becomes the new gym building. So it's not quite as tall as the existing gym building. It's only 1 story. All right, and then this is a site plan of the existing campus more, and then the next one. So one idea in designing the high school athletic spaces were that the needs for wrestling and the needs for a gym, a competition-sized gym, were really the 2 big things. The first theme that we had actually talked about was having wrestling on the first floor. Once we got Colin on board, he pointed out a very important thing, that it would probably be cheaper if that building wasn't a 2-story building. So we moved towards thinking about concepts that would maybe use a metal building and maybe cover more sports in the future or now, and really not put it into a box that it didn't need to fit into. With the size of a gym, we were forced into 1 size for that basement. It's not like you can vary it. So the next scheme, or the next thing, is a floor plan where we looked at what we could do for wrestling, what would all be entailed for, we understood the needs of the school, but also visiting competitions, tournaments, competitions. And then if that building could be located somewhere else, then possibly in the future, or in this phase with whatever money was allocated to it, could be a turf room that you could use for batting cages for baseball, you could use it for track, marching band could practice, football could practice, all sorts of different utilizations for it that really become like a big athletic training building. That building right now, we're thinking 120 feet by 300 feet would sort of be like the ideal if I won the lottery tomorrow and I decide, okay, this is going to be Romney's athletic building. I haven't done anything about it. But at minimum, we're thinking 100 feet by 120, and that would encompass 4 wrestling mats is what we really heard needed to be designed for. And then also bathrooms with the possibility of some small locker rooms, but we don't think that they need to have showers and everything is what the feedback that we're hearing. And this would be a metal building. So we've done some geotech investigation on soils and tried to kind of figure out where the best place would be on the site. add to metal buildings?
We've done a couple of these facilities similar to this, and we're looking at, we're under contract to do one for Cape schools now too. So this is a very popular thing right now, because you get, with the metal building, you get economy of scale, and for this use, this is in the wheelhouse of what a metal building is designed for. So it's a cheaper price point, which is why you get more square footage, and there's a lot more flexibility with a structure like this too, whereas we didn't have that when we were looking at putting it underneath the high school gym with columns and headroom clearances. So this is, you get a lot more for your dollar on this type of a standalone structure than you would in that other scenario.
Right. Athletic facilities want to be a big open space. A basement of a gym would work, but is it the best use of it? Okay. Leads us to schedules. Well, this is hard to read from where you won't find it. So this is just talking in general of when projects are going through the design phase into construction documents, out to bid, and then starting construction and completion. The first one, of course, is Bloomsdale. That is currently bidding. Bids due on Thursday, and then construction happening over the summer. Getting the abatement done over Christmas break was a huge help. So kudos to Davey and Dr. Taylor and everybody for coordinating that. St. John High School would be the next one to bid, the gym addition, and we're planning that to bid in the spring, with construction finishing up by the end of the year. St. John Elementary and Middle School, we're gonna bid as one package together, to maybe get a little bit more of economy of scale, because middle school is kind of a small project, and they'll already be on site with the elementary school. So those would be going out to bid a month or two right after the high school, with construction then happening through the summer. Middle school hopefully finishing up by the end of the year, elementary school taking a little bit longer into next summer, but then open for the next school year. Early Childhood Center is the fourth package to go out over the summer, open for 2024 school year is the goal, to get all of that moving and everything done over the summer. And then the athletic facility we're keeping to last, because of course we're trying to figure out, everybody knows the bidding market's kind of crazy right now, so get the things out that we know that we really need to do and that are the priorities, and then figure out how big really the athletic facility or what it can all encompass. We've talked about even maybe building the shell of it all and not even putting like a concrete floor in it, maybe doing that later when there's money or funds allocated towards it. That's kind of the overall scheduling of it. And then costs. So we typically do our cost estimates in tandem while the design is going on. With Colin on board, it's been nice because he can also do another cost estimate. We can look at our numbers and see, okay, where are you thinking this is at, where we're thinking. This is kind of a summary of where we think we are right now. Like we said, the athletic facility, we're putting in $5 million right now because that was in the middle of our low and our high. The entire big building was 6 or 7, yeah. So it was higher, and we thought, okay, that's too much. Do you want to say anything else about cost estimates?
No, just this spreadsheet is kind of a working, living document, where KRJ took a initial pass at, what they thought each project would cost, and we did the same. It's just kind of a benchmark, something to start and work off of. A lot of that is gut feeling. A lot of it is historical data, recent historical data. Some of it not so recent. And this is, again, the process. So as KRJ develops documents, we go back and we put estimates to those documents. So and you saw the early childhood proposed floor plan. That's one page, but we can put an estimate to that. But the less detail, the less accuracy there is, but it still holds some water or some weight. So as they continue to design, their documents become more detailed, and we then go back and refine those budgets based off of those updated designs. So we're kind of whittling away at it, and then ultimately, before it goes out to bid, we've kind of got a warm fuzzy on where we think we'll be when it does bid. And that helps us identify in advance where there may be some potential cost savings that we can isolate before it bids as alternates. Things that you can add after the project is awarded, or when the project is awarded, or things that you may do later in the future. With the elementary school, we, because of time, did not do that. So we were planning on going through the value engineering process, which is after it's bid, we will go back through and ask the contractors to get a list of items that they think may reduce cost. And then we'll put that list together and present it to KRJ, who will then make recommendations. And what that allows us to do is begin construction while identifying items that you may be able to carve out of the project and realize some savings. And again, with Blues Elementary, we're short on time, so we're trying to get it bid quickly so that we can have it done by the beginning of next school year. So that's kind of the process. And value engineering has proved to be very fruitful for us and other owners in the past, because even me doing this every day, I don't see things through the same lens that specialty contractors do. So it never seems to amaze me how much money and ideas that other contractors can throw at us for us to evaluate. Sometimes they're not good ideas, or sometimes they're good ideas and you guys just choose not to take them. But it's a very good exercise, and we plan on going through it for sure on this first project. But even with budget estimates, we may do them on all of them.
It never hurts. You never know when a contractor's gonna say, well, if you switch the flooring in these 4 classrooms to this other stuff that I already have in my warehouse, and you're gonna save 10 grand. Like sometimes it's really random things that we wouldn't have known or we wouldn't have thought of, or maybe the price of something, maybe we spec red oak doors, and red oak doors went way up in the past 2 months and we didn't realize it. They have some other door type much cheaper. There's also, in these numbers, there's a 10% contingency right now that we're carrying. Just because we know that the scope can change, and also with renovations, it's a good idea to have some sort of allowance or contingency that the owner can dip into if you take away a ceiling and all of a sudden you realize you have a maze of ductwork that you didn't realize you had. So building that kind of into the budget so that there's not a lot of change orders later to add cost to the project that you didn't forecast.
And I'll also add, with Bloomsdale being out, we had a pre-bid last week, and there's 10 bid packages, and we like to see multiple bids on each bid package. And so far, we've had really good feedback. So I think you're going to have really good bid coverage, and people are interested. And even though this is probably one of the smaller projects in your package, people are excited to get their foot in the door and show you guys what they're capable of, because they want to do the rest of the projects as well. So I think Thursday we should have a really good turnout as far as bids go.
Colin, do you have a magic ball that
Magic
tells
ball,
how
yeah.
much construction is going to cost over the next?
I used to, but in the last 2 years, that's kind of because it's been taken out of my hat.
I don't think
But
that weather exists anymore.
I will say, we haven't had a lot of surprises here lately that we have been having. And one of the biggest concerns that I had going into this project was on some of the other projects that we've worked on in different areas, like in Jefferson County and some of the southern counties, it has been difficult to get sub-bids, period. And so that is something that is new. You know, we had material escalations and hard time getting materials, and now we've been having problems getting subcontractors to bid work because they've got so much on their plate already. So far, you guys do not have that problem on this project. And again, this is a project that probably wouldn't get as much attention as the rest of your project. So I would say I don't see that being an issue. And material prices have somewhat kind of plateaued. Some material prices have come down. Steel has come down, wood has come down. So assuming there's no,
Don't say it.
yeah,
There are still some lead time issues, I will say that, which before Bloomsdale went out to bid, Colin said, hey, we may have a lead time issue with steel joists. So we did change the structure on that project to be able to still hopefully meet the timeline with the fabricators and with the installers. So that kind of relationship has been working out really well already, and we're not even a shovel on the ground, so.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm sorry. All right, next on the agenda is new business, draft copy of the 2023-2024 proposed school calendar. Good evening, everyone. The first step in developing a calendar for next school year is to roll over our current calendar into the months of the new one to see where everything falls. So that's what this calendar represents. Highlights would be teacher work days on professional development days on the 14th and 15th, with teacher work day on the 16th, teacher PD day on the 17th, and then the first day of school on the 21st. Interspersed within there are new teacher PD days starting August 8th, 9th, and 10th. Elementary, middle, and high school registrations on the 7th. Orientation programs for 9th grade on the 9th, and middle school 6th grade orientation on the 10th. So that gets us started in August. We then have middle school open house on the 24th, and high school open house on August 30th. Transitioning to September, we have another teacher para PD day on September 1st, and then that following Monday, the 4th, is our Labor Day holiday. October, homecoming is scheduled on October 13th, mid-semester grade check on the 20th, with parent-teacher conferences on the 26th, and that would be an early out day. No school on the 27th. In November, no school on the Veterans Day holiday of November 10th. Early dismissal at 1 p.m. on November 22nd, with no school for Thanksgiving break on the 23rd and 24th. Transitioning to December, we would have an early out on December 20th to begin our Christmas break, and then that would extend through January 3rd. We would return to school on January 4th, that Thursday, and have school on Thursday and Friday before transitioning to a full week that next week. In February, we would have a teacher PD day. That's our River PD event where we collaborate with other school districts. I think we're traveling to Herculaneum this year. And then no school for President's Day holiday on the 19th. March, we have 2 scheduled PD days on the 8th and the 11th. Last year, this worked out well because Easter was so late. Now Easter has been moved up to the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 1st for school being off. But that butts up against those 2 PD days. So I'll talk about our contribution in just a second. And then we have a tremendously long group of weeks to make it to the end of the school year, May 17th. So I'm sure the calendar committee will be considering that as well. We've been lucky enough to fit in our calendar committee meeting before we left for break in December. Gave them this copy, talked about maybe some possibilities, some options that we might have. We then put out a survey to faculty and staff to get input from everybody. That survey closed on Friday. I began yesterday and today going through those comments, getting those together. We're going to schedule another committee meeting to look at all those comments, to update the calendar, and bring it to you next month as a final draft and hopefully for approval. So I think we have some opportunities here that haven't been present in the past. The calendar seems to fit some of the comments that are coming in. St. Genevieve R2 has a 6.5 hour school day, and some districts in our conference have a 6.75 hour school day. So every day they go to school, they gain that 0.25, and that allows them to have some longer breaks. For us, it's just not feasible because of our county size. If you go to Jefferson County, they've got multiple school districts, and their district square footage size is smaller. So for us, having one public school district in St. Genevieve makes that a challenge, having students on the bus that early in the morning and traveling to school. So extending that school day either in the morning or in the afternoon is going to impact those students either in the time they have to get on the bus or the time they get home in the evening. So I look forward to getting these comments together and having the next committee meeting. So this is just for your review and a rollover of last year's calendar as draft number 1.
Is the 21st of August the very first day the state allows you to be open?
Yes, it is.
I see that there's already 7 days difference in the semester totals.
Yes.
Because it's so late, there's nothing to do about that.
Well, there's give you a little insight. There's been some comments about perhaps taking that December Wednesday half day and moving it to the Friday and having a half day on that Friday and then extending into January. So that would add 2 more days to the first semester if that option
Will that
comes
help
out.
with finals for middle school and high school?
Usually finals are the last 3 days, Dr. Mercer, Dr. Boyd. So that would be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that last week.
It would just help balance the semesters a little bit more.
Right.
So talking about only making the 22nd half a day. Is that what you?
Yeah, that's the option that's been suggested by some of the comments on the survey is taking that half day and putting it on Friday, gaining us 2 more days in the first semester, and then extending, coming back on the 8th of January. So you'd have 2 less days than in second semester. A lot of people are really excited about the possibility of having 3 weekends, bookending, the weekends bookending those 2 weeks in the middle. So that's been a few of the comments as well. Jeff pretty much told us when homecoming is, and we put it on the calendar. I think he coordinates a lot of moving pieces with other schools. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think.
Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Next, we have adjourned to executive closed session. Mrs. Hazel.
All right, I'll make a motion under revised Missouri statute 610.021. A motion that the Board of Education adjourns to a closed meeting with the closed record and closed vote after a short break for the purpose of discussing and voting upon the following items of business: hiring, firing, disciplining, or tolerating particular employees, scholastic probation, expulsion, or graduation of identifiable individuals. Okay, and we can call vote. Second. Jamie Ballou? Yes. Eric Bosworth?
Yes.
David Bova?
Yes.
Erin Diesel? Yes. Josh Gettinger?
Yes.
James Kirshner? Yes. Martha Reason? Yes. All right, no carried, 7-0.
Adjourning.
Yeah, adjourning.
Thank you all very much.
Thank